What's up, everyone? Ultimate Story Gaming here, and welcome to my very first life story. And since my channel is based off of weed, as much as it is, I'm gonna be doing my very first time smoking marijuana. And this story sort of has like a really long backstory of or origin of how I actually got to smoking marijuana. So it's sort of like the origin of why I wanted to start and all that stuff. It isn't just the experience of first smoking it, but there's that too in the story. First, I'm going to do like the reason why I wanted to smoke and how I got in and everything like that. All the prepping and all that shit. So this was about a year ago, a little bit over a year ago. School was just starting to end. I was Skyping with one of my buddies I've already known for about a year or so. I think it was 2 years. His name is Evan. His YouTube is Yali Sod. I'll link him down in the description below. And he was starting to get into like he's starting to become a fanatic of smoking. He was smoking tea, and I remember one day I came home from school and I called him, and he had this little homemade pipe thing made out of a can, because everyone does that once in a while. I've actually never done that, but he did it, and he was smoking tea, and I thought that was kind of funny, and I was gonna try to do it, but I didn't know how the fuck I was gonna get a lighter or anything. I was kind of like really nervous and newbie about it, and even thinking about just smoking tea instead of marijuana kind of got me, oh my god, I'm a badass type feel. And so one day I thought maybe I should, try marijuana or tea or something like that, because I knew my dad smoked it, and I know that there was marijuana in the house and something to smoke it out of instead of having to make a little crappy can pipe. And so one night I was Skyping Evan, and I decided to, go. Said I was gonna go to bed, but I was in bed and I was thinking, the pipe is downstairs in the garage, which is where it usually is, on my dad's workbench. I can just go down there, grab it, load a bowl. I wasn't thinking specifically those words. It's like, put some marijuana in and smoke it. And I went downstairs and I looked at the little pipe, and I knew it was meant for marijuana. And the garage smelled like weed all the time. And I looked in it, and it was already half full and half smoked. And so I found my mom's lighter, which was across the garage near her cigarettes, because she left those out in the garage, and we always kept the garage closed for that reason. And I took the lighter and I went over back to the area, and I grabbed the pipe and I tried to figure out how to use it. I had to Google it actually on the computer in the living room. Whoa, I just fucked up my speech right there. Living room. I kind of like burped a bit. I just fucked up my speech entirely. Um, so I found out that you had to put your thumb over the carburetor. Of course, I didn't do it right the first time, and I coughed like shit. I didn't get that high, but I took my second hit, and this is already half smoked marijuana, so it didn't taste very good for the first time. But yeah, I took the hit, and I coughed like a motherfucker, and I don't know how, but I didn't wake up my parents, and 'cause like they were just like right above me, and I was in the garage, and it was a really thin floor, and they're really, light sleepers. So I was like, holy crap, I didn't wake them up from that coughing fit. Better take smaller hits. So I took another hit, and of course I'm not doing it completely like a pro. I'm not using the carburetor as much as I should. I'm not, burning it very well or anything. I'm not sure what the fuck I was doing, but I just didn't get very good hits. But I just got that one really good, moderate sized hit that just completely wrecked me. I just remember, taking the hit, and I'd felt my lungs expanding, and I felt it go in, and it felt really warm, and I just kind of, it sent a chill down my spine. It was really weird. And I blew it out. While blowing out, I made that really weird, noise. You're about to cough like a motherfucker. You're blowing it out, and you make the, noise where your diaphragm just kind of fucks up big time. You just feel like you just, need to start coughing like a motherfucker, or you just need some cough medicine or some shit like that, or some water. So like I took my, I had a V8, and I took a huge swig of it. I remember, coughing for a little bit, and I remember, just like 30 seconds after that huge coughing fit, my freaking mouth felt like it was a desert. My tongue, I remember if it reminded me of when I got my braces because I had to like stick my tongue up into the top of my mouth, which made it so it didn't get wet from saliva, and it got really dry and it felt really fucked. That was the same feeling, but it was my entire mouth. I couldn't move my lips. They're stuck to my teeth. I got cotton mouth freaking bad. I just went upstairs and I started sipping on a V8, and that didn't even help. Freaking water, nothing helped my cotton mouth. And I was also coughing a lot. My lungs were so fucking done. And I made like a little plan of like how I can smoke again. Like I was coming up in my head like how I can get some weed, start selling it maybe. I was trying to become that like little school drug dealer. I had an entire plan out. In that time, I was like, thinking maybe I should go down and smoke again. And this is all the same night. It was like 1 a.m. and school was gonna start up again in the next few months. And like, I just wanted to, become a drug dealer. I guess I'm not sure. It was pretty fucked up. I was pretty high though, so I guess I thought it was a good idea. But I actually got caught doing that. That's another story. But yeah, it was based off of that little night of thinking like, what should I do with this new experience? What should I do with this new thing I can do. I guess I'm not sure because I had access to a bit of weed every once in a while without getting caught. But I went back downstairs and I decided to get a bit onto the counter and smoke down in the garage again. But there was two stashes. There's one in the closet where I got some from because I finished that bowl I think, and there's a bit in the cabinet above the refrigerator, so I got some from that. And they just bought a few buds once in a while, so like I just try to take some from a little black container and go smoke it. And I made a huge mess on the counter, and I tried brushing it all off, and I got on the floor. It was pretty obvious. I tried taking the marijuana, and I kind of fucked up everything that night. Not really, but like I fucked up pretty bad. I made a big mistake of just leaving weed on the counter with for everyone to just see hey, someone was trying to steal marijuana last night. Whoopsie days, he should probably hide that better. So I guess starting up my little weed smoking career was kind of hard. But it was kind of easier than other people because I didn't really have to find a dealer. I didn't had to find a way that most people have to illegally. That what I did was still pretty illegal, but it was pretty I didn't have to go out to do it, which was pretty nice. But yeah, that was my first time smoking weed. I hope you guys enjoyed this story. If you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more videos like this. I'm going to be doing gameplay videos soon. So yeah, see you guys.